What's going on, everyone? It is Wednesday, and I'm your hostess with the mostest, back again with a new episode. And this time around, I have special guest, TV personality. He's a singer, and we're welcoming him back to the show. Welcome back, Joelle Bryan.
What is up, guys?
How's it going?
Going good. I'm sad Melanie's not on here. I was looking forward to talking to her.
I know. I'm sure she's gonna watch and see this. You're gonna have to come
Yeah.
back and well, she's on Melanie, but she will be back in a few weeks. Actually, guys, just so you guys know, she's gonna be gone for a few weeks. She has some things to do, woman stuff. But you are here today with me, and I'm happy you're with me. You just dropped your album. I don't want to be here,
Yeah.
which we're gonna get into. How does it feel? Your baby, basically, your creation, your baby just came out on Friday. How does it feel?
It's like mixed emotions. So I released my first EP called About You a few years back, and having this new project, I don't want to be here. It's such like a progression. It's such a night and day. When I look back at that old project, I'm just like, wow, I was really like green to everything, and even like the subject matters, the writing. I feel so much more elevated now, and it's such more of a more mature project. It's a little bit dark. It's a little bit emo.
We're
We're
gonna
getting
get
into
into that.
we're getting into like serious stuff, but I'm so excited. I mean, it's been years in the making. I think the oldest song is 3 years old. So, it's definitely been a journey, but I'm so proud of it, and everybody has received it so well. So even though it's a little bit dark, I'm excited that people are, relating to the music and liking the sound. So yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get into it. I definitely love it. I have my favorite. That actually, funny enough, there's a few songs that definitely relatable.
So
But
you heard the whole thing.
huh?
You heard the whole thing.
I heard the whole thing. Yes,
Good. Awesome.
yes, of course. What kind of journalist? Not just
Right.
No, of course I heard the whole thing. My favorite that stood out to me is "Crazy Stupid Love."
Okay, thank you. That's how I
Yeah,
mean love.
there's another. I just it's a few relatable ones there. There's a few relatable ones, because I'm a lover of music, and when I listen to music, and I'm sure most people who are, it's an escape. It's kind of like a therapy, something you
Yeah.
relate to and connect to it, and it feels like someone else is singing what you're going through and your feelings, and that's how I like connect to music. Although I also like regular pop songs. I don't have no meaning, but part of the beauty of music is connecting. And I definitely connected to some of the songs on your album, that are definitely relatable. And that one definitely stands out. But we're going to get more into the album and all that. People don't know. Last time you was here, we was talking X on the Beach. You was on MTV's X on the Beach. And then you just surprised. I mean, I didn't know. You just surprised me and told me you just did another reality show that we're gonna get into. But before we talk about that, tell us what's something that maybe last time you wasn't on, maybe a little insight or behind the scenes or something people wouldn't know that goes on with especially reality TV shows during your time with X on the Beach. Any little
Yeah.
things that you could tell us, the secrets?
Okay, let me think. Okay, so first and foremost, like we knew, if you knew about X on the Beach or if you watch MTV, then you kind of understood the premise on X on the Beach. But going into it, they didn't tell us what show we were doing. They
Mm.
just told us, oh, you're gonna go see an X. So we kind of had to, to put the pieces together. So ultimately, we didn't know what we were going into. But I had a lot of issues with production. You're I went in mid-season, so they were kind of over it. And
Mm.
so I was like, oh, this is my first experience. I'm not over it. I'm just excited and ready to go, you know? Um, so there were, a couple issues, a couple maybe like, I don't know, a little bit of tea. So we had gotten into a few arguments, but our biggest argument actually wasn't aired on TV because the power went out in the whole house. So we're like arguing and like really going at it after there was like a courtroom scene. We're going at it, and then like the whole power shuts off on the house. And so they're like telling us to like shut up, like literally like just telling us to shut up. And I'm just like arguing with my boyfriend, and at the same time, like, who are y'all talking to? Like, I'm very genuinely upset. You know what I mean? And you're like telling me to shut up because you want me to like stop because the cameras can't see.
Mhm.
So I end up like going off on the producers and just going to my room. And then that's when the scene where me and him argue on camera actually happened. So, you know, our biggest scene didn't really get to air. So I really wish I could see that and hear that because that was some tea. Some other tea was, so they had given me and him kind of like a challenge to look through each other's phones. We had like 7, I think, each to look through each other's phones. So what they didn't show on TV was that the challenge to us was look through each other's phones or you go home. So I had just got in there. So I'm like, I'm not going home. But one thing that me and him had talked about prior, because again, we kind of knew the premise of the show and we, you know, spoke a little bit before, not deeply, but we spoke before. I told him, I was like, I don't want anyone to go through my phone. He thought when they told us that challenge that we were going to go home. But the tea is I had 2 phones. I had a work phone and I had my personal phone. And I gave both of them both phones, or I gave both producers a phone. So I had 2 phones that I had given them. So when I get to the challenge and I'm looking at the phone, I'm like, that's not my personal phone. That's like my work phone. And there's nothing on that phone. I edit on that phone.
Okay.
You know, I use that. I clear it up so that I can use all the editing programs, you know, so that there's no memory on there and there's, you know, whatever. So I'm looking at that phone and I'm like, damn, I can't tell them that this isn't my personal phone because they're going to like send me home. My phone is in like a whole nother house in a whole nother hotel somewhere else, you know. I was really scared to go home. So when he's going through my phone on the challenge, he's like, there's nothing on here, you know? And so they made it seem like I wiped it, but really it just wasn't my personal phone. So fast forward to later, we were having like this round table with everyone on TV. It was like one of the last scenes on the shows. I confessed it to them. I was like, I have a confession to make. Like, y'all didn't have the right phone. So, you know, y'all fucked up. And they just got mad because I shouldn't have said that. I kind of broke the 4th wall. And they're like, use this. And I'm like, what? Like, I set it up right. I was like, I have a confession to make. You know, I thought it was going to be like a cliffhanger. Yeah. I was like, I have a confession to make. And I thought it was going to be a cliffhanger and it was going to be this whole thing. But they couldn't even use it. So.
Come on, self-producer. Self-producing.
Para qué? It didn't end up. But
hey, you never know. You never know.
It was a good time, though. It was a good time. And
anyone you keep up with from the show still? From the
honestly, me and Jonathan, so the ex that I was on there with, we're super cool. He's the reason that I did the show was because I knew that he was going to be somebody that wouldn't stab me in the back. He couldn't be bought. You know what I mean? Like we had genuine issues, but I knew that he would never, you know, do something shady. Now he did end up not picking me, which I was so salty about because I was trying to get to the end. I wanted to get on the boat at the end and, you know, go into the sunset. I didn't care if we were going to be together or not. But he ended up breaking up with me and he told me he was going to do that before he did it. And I'm like, I had a meltdown. I was mad. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, that's the truth. I'm like, now you're trying to tell the truth? Wow. You know what I mean? Like, now you're trying to be genuine. Like, we know we're not here to be together. We're just here to, you know, do what we got to do.
Yeah. But now, we was just talking before the show. You were on just recently on Amazon on a new show. Tell us the title and tell us about that. And when I say tell us, me included, because I had no idea.
So Mr. Beast is like the biggest YouTuber on the planet. He gives away like millions of dollars online. He does like weird challenges and games and stuff on YouTube. And so they gave him an Amazon show, $100 million Amazon show. And so we started in Vegas with 2,000 people and we narrowed it down to 1,000. It was like 5 challenges, I think, to narrow it down to 1,000. And the 1,000 who won got to do the Amazon Prime show. So that was in Canada. And it was 1,000 people. It was a $5 million prize. It was intense. It was crazy. There was a lot of controversy on the show because for the first part of it, the 2,000 people, they had us in an arena and we couldn't shower for like 4 days. They had us sleeping on the floor. They took all of our clothes. We couldn't change. It was just a mess. Mind you, I'm going from X on the Beach to Beast Games, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be great. This is Amazon. It's going to be different. It was a mess.
Worse?
So, well, yeah, I mean, there's just so many people. 2,000 people. Imagine keeping up with 2,000 contestants.
Yeah.
And so once I'm in it, I'm stuck. And
That's
so
the biggest amount of contestants I've ever heard of. So
yeah, so sorry, I didn't say that. They wanted to be the biggest show ever. So Squid Games was the biggest with I think like 500, and the
got
prize
it.
was like the biggest prize ever. And so they wanted to up them with Amazon and do Beast Games, and then it was 2,000 players and $5 million. So it was a lot.
And how did you fare in that? Where did you come in that?
So I was 450. So I
Okay.
got eliminated once there were 450 people left. Mind you, most of the challenges were like teams. So, you know, you didn't, and some of them were luck. So it wasn't always based on skill. So my specific challenge was, I think it was like, they put us into like two groups, and we had to get people to self-eliminate themselves. And the group that had the most people self-eliminate was the one who won, you know? So if you could convince people in your group to like eliminate themselves, then, you know, like it was a good thing. And whoever had the most people that did that one. So what the group had, I think it was 5 people that self-eliminated. We had 4.
Got it.
So we lost, we went home, and that was that.
And that we could catch on Amazon Prime, right?
Amazon Prime. Yeah. After I did X on the Beach, everybody was like, you got to do the challenge. And I'm like,
Yes.
there's too much going on. No,
That's my favorite show. That's the only thing I still watch on MTV. That's the only thing, I mean, only original thing anyways.
Listen, Jonathan from X on the Beach, my ex, he wants to do it. And I'm like, if we can go as a pair, then I'll think about it. But by myself, I'm like, I can't do it. So I'm like, Beast Games was like a cute little, you know, family challenge, you know, thing that I decided to do. So
nah, you could do it. You could do it. I would love to see you on the challenge.
It's
Listen, you don't always gotta have the bronze or be that, like, you know, build and be able to lift 500 pounds. It's also about like, and I think you could do
I
it.
know, but the men on there just take it too seriously. Like they're just too intense.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
especially the OGs, people who've been doing it and stuff. I think it's evolved. The challenge has evolved from when it was, because back in the day, I don't know if you used to watch back in the day, it was like backyard games. And now it's like so competitive and like, you know, crazy. I used to want to go on the challenge too.
Would you audition?
Funny story. I auditioned a while ago. I was like early 20s. Early 20s. I auditioned for what would have been the Real World Australia that season. So I was living in Rhode Island at the time. So I came from Rhode Island with like 2 other friends, drove and did the whole casting there here in New York. And, you know, stood in a line, did the whole thing or whatever. And then, you know, they're like, oh, you'll hear from us by the end of the day. We're interested. So that's as far as I got for that. That was my...
Keep trying, man. Keep trying.
Thank you. You know what? And thank you for that, because I feel like I didn't try for certain things as hard as, or kept on consistently with things. Because I always used to be told like, oh, I could see you on a reality show, like working retail, like by customers, like co-workers. I could see you on the Real World. I could see you on reality show. But I just never like consistently tried. So, but actually, funny story. Remember that show Dating Naked?
I've heard of it,
On VH1. They was very interested in me to do that. But I will have to play, I remember it was 2015 and I just had moved to Miami. But then I would have had to play straight and all that stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm a guy who likes guys.
Yeah, some tea. So I don't know if this had to do with me getting on X on the Beach, but prior to X on the Beach, I had a casting director that was persistently trying to get me onto the season of Are You the One? And it was one of the seasons that was like fluid. And so I told him, I was like, I have never had sex with females. I don't like females, you know, like it's not my thing. And they're just like, well, it would be an experience for you to like test it out on TV. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not using my first experience to like do it on TV. Like, I just like.
Yeah, same. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. So that's something I passed up, but I haven't been consistently thinking. Then, you know, there's game shows, but I don't know. You know the whole auditioning and thing process, like for these shows, where it's like they're like, well, do you know someone who's like a flight attendant, or do you know someone who's a cop, like, you know, to come on you with on these game shows? It is just hard to gather all those people for the audition part. You know, when they want you to set up, you know, the behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, but when it will align for me. But
you got to audition though. I'm telling you right now.
Huh?
It'll align, but you got to also audition. You got to put
Exactly.
your foot in the door too.
You got to put the action in. Yes, I amen to that. I received that, and I will. I will. But what's a show that people will be surprised? You know, speaking of reality shows and stuff, reality or not, what's a show that people will be surprised that you're watching right now or hooked on or whatever?
Well, listen, I watch a lot of like podcasts. I watch a lot of YouTube. It's hard for me to like get into TV and stuff like that, just because I don't know, I just can't commit. But I right now I'm watching a show called Couples Therapy because I wanted to get deep and in my feelings, and it's amazing. So I've been watching that. I recommend anybody.
VH1? Is it
No, so they
What
had
Netflix?
done. I like all shows like that. So I had seen the one on VH1. They do like celebrity rehab and couples therapy and stuff like that. This is on Showtime. So I really like that one. I watch Handmaid's Tale. I don't know if you've seen that
No.
on Hulu. Come on, Charlie.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. No. You see,
I
Melanie.
See?
Hi, Melanie. If you watch it, listen. I know
Melanie,
if you
come
watch,
on. Stop
Yeah.
dodging me, girl. I'm here. Charlie's gonna have to bring me back when you're here because
yeah.
I need to see. But I started watching Squid Games. I need to finish that one. I used to watch a lot of reality TV. Like when you talk about The Challenge, I used to love The Challenge. I used to love The Challenge. I used to love The Real World. I used to love loving hip hop. I used to love Basketball Wives. I used to love all that stuff. But you know, and I even got into a little bit of Zeus. You know, baddies. Like I'm trying to stay away. No, I am, Charlie. I want to see it so bad, but I can't no more.
I got the only time I downloaded Zeus, and I did it for just that time. It was initially when Natalie Nunn brought some of their old bad girls.
I've seen it. The Conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they did that like little bit with Sarah and the voodoo chick.
Christina.
That's the only season I watched, and then I got rid of Zeus. But then I guess it became bigger.
Listen,
But
Jocelyn's Cabaret is. Well, I'm not gonna say it's everything, but it's the drama. Baddies is the drama. Like I would watch that all day, every day, but I just cannot anymore. It's just it makes me so angry, and then I'd be out in the streets like arguing with cashiers and ask my brother fast food workers. Like I just be going in on people, and it's because you think that that's real life. It's not.
No, but it's funny. It's funny you say that though, because for me it's opposite. I was just thinking this like literally the other day while like sitting here on the couch listening to music. I'm like, I love reality TV, and people will say because I've had exes tell me, "Oh, this drama. You like dramatic stuff, like Real Housewives, blah blah blah."
Like,
And I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, right, it is drama, but I like watching drama. I don't like the drama in my life. My personality, no, I don't like the drama in my life. Although I could be dramatic as a Pisces, but I like watching the drama, not being in the drama.
See, I'm a Gemini, so those two sides. That one side is very calm, but that other side, it's like no one would expect it. So yeah, it just makes me. I feel like those things make me very fired up.
Yeah.
And so I gotta stay away from the Zeus stuff. But
well, speaking of Real Housewives of Atlanta dropped after like over a year, 2-year hiatus and a soft little reboot. Portia Williams is back, and it came back. You were saying have you watched Real Housewives of Atlanta before? Were you ever
like my brother plays it, and I've seen it in the background. But actually, it's funny because I was watching here. Portia's interview came up on The Breakfast Club, and I felt like the first 20 minutes, and she was talking about some man who did her ex or something.
I mean, yeah.
How she couldn't film in a home or something.
It'll play out. He's
very
nice.
I haven't seen it, but I mean, I could get into it every now and then if it's on.
Yeah, so that dropped this past Sunday. I personally, there's some new girls. There's a lot of new girls actually. Like I said, it's a soft reboot that they did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know there was some naysayers, like, they feel like, especially with the drama that's gone behind the scenes with Kenya stuff, but it was good, and I'm looking forward to the season now. Another show, Real Housewives of Atlanta, just started, but one that just ended, which was this past last Thursday, the finale of Traitors.
Okay,
that's also a competition show. It's basically like some reality TV personalities with reality TV personalities that span from like you seen Bob the Drag Queen, you would say, from all Drag Race to the Housewives to other Bravo shows to like shows like Survivor and Amazing Race. that are put into go to Scotland, and basically they try to figure out who's the traitors.
Right, and Bob Crackling was a traitor, right?
Yeah, and who Bob, right?
Bob, yeah.
Yeah, Bob was a traitor, but he spoiler alert, before people are like, oh, why you give spoilers? Spoiler alert, right now. He warning. He was a traitor, but he got eliminated like early on.
Yeah. I seen him read this chick on in the reunion.
Yeah. So yeah, it just ended. So for the people who don't know, once again, spoiler alert, the Faithfuls won. So shout out to the Faithfuls. It was Dolores from the Housewives of New Jersey. This girl, Brittany, or I forgot her name. She's from The Bachelorette. Zac Efron's brother was there. I don't know what reality TV show he did, but he's Zac Efron's brother. That's what I call him, Dylan. And this British guy from Britain, like he's a lord in Britain or something. They won. So that was I like that. I like the traders. But another story, and I was telling Joelle before the show started that I'm hooked on, that I was put on to, and it's on Netflix. And we know Tyler Perry, Tyler Perry, man. It's called Beauty in Black. I am hooked. The new season just dropped. I'm hooked. Do you said do you watch it?
Yeah, so I saw a little bit of the first season, and now that I'm thinking about it, there was that scene where like the two dudes are hooking up and the mom just walks in. I'm like, dang, and you just see from the back, like, just like, damn, I don't think I've ever seen something so explicit. I'm like, ooh. But
same. I'm glad I wasn't the only one.
It's crazy, and the cast is good. I think the acting is good. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I haven't gotten into the last season. I saw that it came out, but yeah, I got to check it out.
I'm slowly returning because again, I have all these other shows I watch, reality TV shows and stuff. So I've caught maybe like 2 episodes of the new season, but in a way I could just progress with it. Like sometimes I just binge things, but it's so good that I don't want to just finish it quick. But then there's people talking about it online, like spoilers and stuff. So
yeah, you don't want them to spoil it. Also, the male stripper on there, I don't know what his name is, but he is fine. Well, I don't know if he died or not.
The one who hangs out with the stripper girl who's abused and is going through it.
Well, no, I think he hangs out with the main girl. Like
the main girl. Yeah, the main girl. Yeah.
She like brought him in to like hook up with like the
He's alive, baby. He's alive.
He's alive.
He's alive still. So far from the episodes I've seen, I love him. A lot of them are like yum. Like it's like that's 2. They're good looking cast. So it's like
no,
not only is a drama, but like the people are good, like eye candy.
And it's a good storyline. I mean, talking about Tyler Perry, like I used to be obsessed with the earlier movies. I've never seen the plays, but the earlier movies, and I do feel like it's kind of lacking. Like the movies they're not that great anymore.
The ones he be dropping on Netflix, right? What did you think of the one Kelly Rowland was in? Mi culpa.
First of all, thank God that there's something that you brought up that I've actually seen in its entirety, because there's so many of them that I haven't seen. The new one. But I liked it, but it was very graphic. Good for him for like going in. From what I remember, it was good though. Like I liked it.
I watched it, and it was. Some people like again. Sometimes I'm one of those people that here for the comments. I like to see people's perspective when they're seeing, and a lot of people are like, I liked it though.
Yeah, I mean, for me to finish it, it means that it was like
same.
At least a good first watch. You know, if I can watch it the first time and enjoy it, maybe I won't see it again. But you know, at least I can turn it on.
I'm that type of a person that I'll actually go to movie theaters. I still enjoy the process of going to the movie theater and what that is. But like you just said, sometimes you go and I would never watch that movie again. Like it's very rare. Huh?
Do you go alone to movie theaters?
Actually, I have gone alone to movie theaters many times as a self-date, self-love, care day. Yes.
Period.
Yeah. Which is, I used to think funny, and to the young kids that like to judge and think, I was one that when I was young, 18, 19, 20, I used to like look at people that went to the movies or to eat like, oh my God, that's weird. Why are they eating by themselves?
They're losers.
I can't stand myself for thinking that back then as a youngin, because now I think it's so important. It is so important to do that. So
Yeah, that just
Yeah,
means you're growing and you're learning and you're maturing. Because I'm the same. I used to look at them and be like, "Yo, they're losers," but like now it's like, "Oh no,
yeah,
calm." Here
yeah.
I
But your album dropped this past Friday. I don't want to be here, and I want to get into it. But someone else who dropped an album that Friday, so you're up there with some good people releasing music. Lady Gaga, she released
am.
Mayhem. Are you a monster?
I have. I haven't gotten into her album, guys. I'm sorry. Don't, go in. I am a monster though. Mayhem is the name of the album, right?
Yes.
Lady Gaga Mayhem. I haven't gotten into it, but yeah, no, Lady Gaga is one of those artists where I'll listen to the album at least one time, top to bottom, listen, and pick out my favorites because I always know that she's gonna kill it. My favorite song from Lady Gaga is probably, and I was talking to my brother about this, we were trying to pick one, but I love Monster off of her
Monster. I love
yeah,
that.
that song is everything. Also, there's like different ones that I like Heavy Metal Lover.
I love that
Um,
one too. Love
yeah,
Game from her first album.
Love Game. Listen, her first album is just like
Her first album is pure pop gold.
slaps. Yeah, but also just like her discography is amazing. So yeah, I am a monster. I saw the tour on HBO the other day that they filmed it and put it out there. And yeah, I love Lady Gaga.
Yeah, she dropped her album Mayhem. I heard it, of course, like just like I heard yours. What type of journalist would I be without doing my research? Hi, Portia. That's an inside joke I have with journalist and Portia. But my favorite songs from her album that stood out to me: Garden of Eden.
Okay, I'm gonna write this down. Garden of Eden and what?
Zombie Boy. Melanie's favorite. She said she liked Zombie Boy, but then randomly she texted me the other day. She's like, actually, my favorite is Shadow of a Man. Yeah, Shadow of a Man. Which is a good song too, but Zombie Boy has this like disco 70s chinge vibe.
Yeah.
I check it out. I checked.
I'm gonna give you my critique. I'll DM you. I'm gonna DM you my critique on your favorite song.
Yes, yes. So it's a good album, but your album dropped too, and I heard your album as well. And again, I was telling you that my favorite song, I relate to a few songs, but my favorite song is Crazy Stupid Love. You know the lyrics, so you will know it. But I'm someone who, I've said it a lot, I relate to music, and I love listening to an album where I feel like the artist understands me or sees me. Let's get back into it. I don't want to be here. What's behind this title? Because we was discussing how it's a little dark, and I even heard that, and there's a few questions I want to get into. But what's behind the title? I don't want to be here.
Okay, well, audience, before we answer that, I just want to say that when we do get to Crazy Stupid Love, or if we don't, we are going to, because I want to hear Charlie's firsthand experience on his relationship that made this song so parallel to the experience. But we'll get to that later, because we want specifics on Charlie, right? We want to know his.
You're putting me on the spot.
Okay. No, I don't want to be here. The first song that I created for the EP, where I knew I had found the new sound for the projects and the new theme, was More, which was basically saying like, I just want more. I don't want the same thing anymore. I want something different. I want more out of life and relationships and everything. And so once I started getting the songs together, I just realized that most of the songs were just stages of like either like loss or grief or heartbreak and stuff like that. And so kind of like the overarching narrative of all the songs was like, I don't want to be in these spaces anymore. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in this low anymore. And I think that that's the first thing you have to realize before you work your way up and out of it. You know what I mean? You fall, you go through whatever you go through, and then you say, damn, I got to get out of here. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in this space anymore. And then that's when you're able to, take the steps to get out of whatever hole you kind of dug for yourself or wherever you find yourself. So even though it would be great to like think of a title or an album cover that's like a little bit more brighter and positive or whatever, but really, I mean, I wanted to talk about the space that a lot of people don't talk about, which is like the low, like the bottom, when you hit rock bottom. So
yeah, especially in our world where the social media world where we're, and I say we because a lot of us, even even I don't run to social media and per se put what I feel or the low I'm feeling in at that day or something. We always want to present our best selves.
Yeah.
So I love that you said that. With Shining for me, initially when I heard the song,
Mhm.
because I'm a spiritual guy, I'm like, oh, this is a spiritual song. But as the lyrics continue, I'm like, I'm like, okay, it talks about, or as I interpret it, like a loss.
Yeah.
So is this song about particularly a lover that you lost? And there could be different variations of losing. It could be actual, death, or and the death of losing the person in the relationship, although they're physically didn't die.
Yeah.
So explain Shining for me, because that one stood out to me as well.
Yeah. So okay. So it's up for anyone's interpretation, right? And it's funny because my parents asked me the same thing. They were like, "Is this a song about God?" And I'm like, "No." So
He said,
my cousin Isaac, he died from COVID 3 years ago. It's gonna be
oh,
4 years.
sorry.
Yeah, and so unfortunately, he left a wife and his only child who was 10 months old. He died at my age right now, 33 years
Oh,
old, And so he passed away. And so when I was creating this project, I heard the track for what became Shining on Me. And I've always loved, those kinds of songs like I'll Be Missing You or Changes by Tupac or One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey. And I've always wanted, to do a song like that, but it just had to come natural and organically. And so when I heard the track for Shining on Me, I was like, dang. And so it just hit me hard. And I just started, writing, and it just evolved into a story about honoring my cousin who had passed away. And so the first two verses kind of explain. The first verse explains the last conversation that me and him had, which I took for granted because I didn't know that he was going to pass away suddenly. Which was, and this is the first time I'm talking about this, and people, I'm talking about it vocally. But I wrote him a message because my mom had told me, he's not doing well. Write him a message, reach out, and so I reached out to him, and he was, kind of flustered at everything going on over COVID. Not a lot of people knew what was going on. He didn't know what was going on. And so he asked about my career. And I told him how it was a little bit difficult just because, you want the support of your family. And our family is very complex, which he knows about. And so he basically told me, like, don't worry that they're judging you, or don't worry about what they want. Just focus on you. You're a star. You're going to do great and stuff like that. And my response to him was, thanks, cousin. And then that was it. I never ended up speaking to him again. And so I always looked at that conversation with like, dang, I should have written more, or I should have reached out. And, I didn't know that was the last time I was going to speak to him. So anyways, the first verse of Shining on Me is basically addressing that, which is, I'm saying, you told me they don't know who you really are. And no matter where you go, you'll always be a star. And so, yeah, so the song is about him, and it's honoring him, and his family has heard it and they love it. And his wife has heard it. She loves it. And so I'm just glad that I could create a song to honor him that'll live forever, that people have, resonated with. A lot of people have talked to me about that song. And, a little bit of tea, I kind of want to take that song to it is out there being shopped right now to be placed on a show or on a movie or stuff like that. But I also might want to do another reality show where I can kind of like, show it off a little bit. So
yes, it is a special song, and it definitely stood out for me. And again, like you said, it could be, interpretation stuff. I connected to it spiritually, right away for me. So definitely, love that song. How difficult though, because, and thanks for sharing that. How difficult as an artist, as a singer, writer, it is it to put yourself and get to that vulnerable state, especially with this album. You even said, it's a little dark, and the reasons why you wanted to release it, but I'm sure it's difficult. So how difficult, or like the thoughts or the feelings you battle within yourself, like, oh my God, like I'm doing this.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, like as an independent artist and as somebody who, has um, to be completely honest, like not a lot of people believe in my work. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people in the industry, they don't believe in my work. And so I've had to learn how to do it by myself because not a lot of people want to help me out with it, This whole album was made with 5 people, and I'm talking the visuals, the from beginning to end, 5 people had their hands in this. And so, unfortunately, but fortunately, I've had to do all this on my own in my room. You know what I mean? So there is a vulnerability you can reach there in your room by yourself when you're having these thoughts and wanting to put this on paper and record it and do different takes where you just have the freedom to like say whatever you want. And I have tracks where I like on certain takes, I'm like crying, you know what I mean? Because I'm able to get into those spaces. If I was in a studio building this from the ground up with like 2 writers and an engineer, I probably can't get that vulnerable, or I probably can't take 3 days to like sit with the song and see where I really want to go with it. So it's actually very simple to get vulnerable and to say what I want to say because no one's really watching, when I'm creating it. I'm in my room, I'm in private. I do it when I feel inspired. I do it on my time. So, it's easy for me to kind of like record something when I'm in that space and I'm genuinely moved and inspired to make music.
You mentioned a lot of people not believing in your work or your artistry. And, what I would say, how do you continue pushing yourself? Because even for me, in this platform as a podcast, I'm thankful for the people who support, and I've shared this on this podcast a lot. Like back when I was a teenager, I used to say I wanted to be a singer,
Yeah.
and I used to say I don't care if I sell one. This is when I was younger. I don't care if I sell one CD. If I'm at least helping or reaching one person, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I guess with anything I do, artistry wise, whatever, this platform right now on the podcast, there's people that support you, then there's people you're surprised that you thought would or whatever. So how do you continue motivating yourself and pushing yourself when, you hear so many no's and people that may not believe in you? And even like you said, even family members that think this is the wrong path, or what are you doing? Or you're not making or doing this much with it. Like, why do you, what do you say to that? How do you continue being motivated, staying motivated?
I just talked about all the like bad stuff, but there's also like good, things that happen in general, like you said, and it's very important to note that when you have to look at how far you've come. You're saying if I just sell one CD, right? Well, then when you become an artist and you just sell one, you're like, that's not enough. And you're just like, wait, I told myself that was enough. So I also have to thank everybody out there who has supported me and who has, bought my music, listened to my music. Netflix had one of my songs on there. I posted a picture the other day where someone had, the Lady Gaga CD and then my CD because they both were on like they're added to their playlist. There's a lot of people out there that do support me, and that do love me and that it reaches. When I released the EP, I Don't Want to Be Here, I reached out to a few people who had gone out of their way to mention, Mira, I like this song or I like that song. Thank you for, putting that out there. And one specific fan of mine sent me an audio message saying, hey, I really believe in you. Keep going. When you released the song More, like it really resonated with me. And just to be honest with you, like I've cried to that song. And anytime that I feel low, and I'm like, wow, like what more could I ask for or want as an artist? Even on my little small platform, I'm able to produce something that really touches somebody. So to answer your question, it's those moments, where you're like, okay, I'm, it's on God's path and his terms and his story. And, I just got to understand that I've been given a gift and just to keep going.
Yeah, I love that. And I love vibing. This is why I like, what I do, and just being able to, bring other artists on and talk about things like that, because it's the same thing. Recently, even I don't want to get too in depth with it. I had this conversation and someone told me, they're like, you cannot be afraid to share it, even with like coworkers, etc. But recently my coworker stumbled upon the podcast. And with coworkers, because here we talk about a variety of things. Sometimes you don't want certain people, but
Right.
she did, and she loves it. And a shout out to her. Another shout out to my girl, Miss P. She for my birthday recently, she got me this, and it was a beautiful note. It says the inner circle, and then my name.
Oh, that's cute.
And
Uh-huh.
it was a note of like, and then another coworker found it. They both told me like, you shine. There's something that about you that like switches, and you can tell you enjoy this. And I really do. I always, watching TRL. Remember TRL? I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to be the Carson Daly. I want to do it. So I get it, and I love to hear that. That you hear, because it's those little things as well that keeps me going. You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean,
shout out to you too, because no, truly, because I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, oh, like I have a podcast scheduled, and the reason that I choose to support you guys and be here is because you're consistent. It's because
thank
the quality of the show. Is because you're a great host. You and Melanie are both great hosts. I
you
watch
so
you guys
much.
on and off of here. And whether a gazillion people are watching or 100 people are watching or whatever, you guys keep going because it's something that you love. That is what separates you from every other person doing a podcast, because a million people are doing podcasts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You guys,
Yeah.
and your chemistry between each other. So that doesn't go unnoticed. So whoever gets
Thank
it, will
you.
get it, and whoever don't.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Truly, that means a lot. Thank you so much. Now, what would you say is your favorite song on the album? Why?
Um. Uh, Dang, well, I will say for right now, it's Be All Right. It's an interlude
Uh-huh.
because all of the songs that I did were they're years old, and they were done. I hired an engineer to do all of the other songs and record them for me. But Be All Right was a song that came about like a month ago, and I actually recorded it in my room. It's actually a song that no one touched but me. It's the first song that I do that way, and yeah, I just felt like so inspired to like put it on. It was last minute, and I just honestly, looking back now, I can't believe that it's on there. You know what I mean? Like I had like an anxiety attack in the beginning of it, and then it was like a song or a interlude at the end, and it was just it was one of the songs that was very positive. Like the other ones are like Crazy Stupid Love, Broken Hearted, Anxiety, I Want More, I'm Not Getting Enough. And Be All Right is kind of like saying like, whatever you go through, I know I'm gonna be all right. You know what I mean? So I like that one right now. That one's my favorite.
And speaking of anxiety, I was listening to that as well. Also relatable in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, again, music is for interpretation. So for you, if you want to talk about it, was this about a actual relationship you were in anxiety? Because again, I love the album because I could relate, and I love when I could relate and feel like someone's singing for me or sees me, etc. I went through a relationship where I felt that, like, that anxiousness, that anxiety, especially when I knew it was the end, but I was trying to still make it work. Um, and the anxiety it gives, and just wanting peace, and just then coming to a point where like I am at peace and you're not feeling that anxiety. Could you talk to us a little bit about anxiety and, something that we don't talk about a lot, mental health, and even romantic relationships could cause
Yeah.
our mental health to crack. So could you talk
Yeah.
to us a little bit about that track?
Yeah, so I wanted to create a song that wasn't necessarily about a relationship. It was about a relationship with myself, with
Mhm.
with anxiety. It's just literally about anxiety. That's what it is. The song says that you don't know where you're gonna. The anxiety of not knowing where you're gonna land when you're caught in a storm.
Mm.
Regardless of what storm that is. A relationship with your family, relationship with religion. I remember going to my therapist and saying, I don't know why I'm going through this, because like I'm privileged. I mean, I'm cute and I got a good job and, like I'm healthy. And she's like, well, okay, let's get into it. And then she's like, well, you want to be in a relationship and you're not. And, you depend a lot on God, but you don't necessarily know. There are a lot of questions you haven't answered with him, and your family is Charlie. I don't know if you're gone, but can you hear me? Can you see me? Hey, okay. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, so you depending on God, but
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, you don't know where you stand with God. And, I had some turmoil with my family. So there were a lot of foundational things that were like wrong. You know what I mean? And all of it just gave me a lot of anxiety. It was like I had an existential crisis. So, it's just about realizing that anxiety lives within you sometimes. And in the song itself, I declared, I'm like, I've been underneath you. It's so hard to leave you, but I gotta let you go. You know what I mean? So it's just for anybody out there who understands what like depression, mental health is, and just wanting to get better.
and I love that you say that. Listen, this is a part. This is something to look through our episodes. We are advocates for mental health. I've been from day one all honest and open about the importance of having a therapist if you can. Like I think back then it was such a stigma, like,
Yeah.
ooh, a therapist. Ooh, you see a psychologist, a therapist. Oh, where I'm glad it's progressed with the years, although in some cultures, and our culture being Puerto Rican and stuff, like the Caribbeans and stuff, it's still a stigma like, oh, you're telling someone our business or your business. Oh my God. But it's progressing, and I love people who are believe in therapy. It's such a
Yeah.
great tool. It's
Yeah.
such a great tool to navigate through this world. For someone who doesn't know the artist Joelle Bride, someone that may be listening or watching this for the first time, what would you, if you have to describe your artistry, your music in three words, what would it be?
Ooh, real pop and R&B. So it's gonna be pop and R&B, but it's gonna be about real stuff.
Yes, and
It ain't
it is real stuff.
like like this. I might have a verse about it, but it ain't gonna be about the song. Ain't gonna be called twerking or uh, ecstasy. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna give all that. It's gonna be about real shit.
Now, we have songs on the album called Broken Hearted. Are
Mhm.
any of the songs, because anxiety, again, like you said, it could be interpreted
Yeah.
like a relationship giving you anxiety, but I love that you shared, like, and I learned for myself that it could be with it yourself. And that's a good take. I like that.
Yeah.
Because we do that is related when that does have is factual as well. But then we have Broken Hearted. So are any of the songs drawn inspiration from a relationship gone south for you on this album, or is it just because some people story tell? It may not necessarily be you. So, is it something you went through and you dealt with, or
Great question, because we're gonna segue right into crazy stupid love, and we're both gonna give our takes on
you
it.
gotta be a host too? You need to do hosting as well.
Great segue, Charlie. No, so sorry guys, it's freezing in this house and my nose is like dripping. But yes, Crazy Stupid Love is absolutely about a relationship. And in the second verse, I just went off. I don't know why I decided to just like go off of the melody of the first one, but yeah, it's just like about a relationship where it's just tumultuous and just like, but you love it, but it's all over the place, and then like the person's trying to get back with you and trying to make things work, and you're just like, no, you know what I mean? Like, so I talked a little bit of shit on there, and yeah,
I,
that was definitely about a relationship.
I know, and I love that song.
Yeah.
Um,
It's my
give it
first
to me.
explicit
Do you
song.
want me to get into what resonates with me? I know.
Was it just a general resonation, or was it about someone specific? You can
I'm
drop
not gonna say
names,
this
you can
specific
drop
person.
dates.
Well, now I'm being put on the spot. Now I know how it feels. It's about someone specific.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say their name, but I'm not gonna give that power on my platform. But it is about someone specific, and that the being down the road thing, and that, like you said, they're trying to come back, but do I want this? But then part of me loves it, and when you love someone, you know what I mean. So it's definitely relatable. But I'm at a point also where I'm just trying to heal and move. No, actually,
So
I'm
you're over
healing and
Mhm.
moving
Officially. So you're not going back.
on.
Maybe. Okay. Hey, it's a journey. Okay, it's a journey.
I'm laughing because I feel put on the spot, and I know this part. This is gonna get me in trouble.
Oh well,
I
hey,
feel
what you
people.
gotta do. Check out the song "Crazy Stupid Love." You ain't gotta answer no questions. Just listen to the song.
Yes, there you go. Thank you so much. Listen, and not only check out the song, check out the album. I don't
Please.
want to be here. It's amazing, and in case you a visual person and you need to see the
Yeah.
album for those, it is streaming on all your favorite platforms, whether that's Spotify, Apple, iHeart, wherever you listen to your music, get your music from. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Before we get into this game and let you go, I don't want to keep up much of your time. You're in LA, right? You
My
said,
brother, by the way, shout out to my brother Christian for creating this cover. He did it by himself. He's a graphic designer. Period. It's everything. Sorry, Charlie. Go ahead.
no, you're good. You got absolutely. We listen. We gotta shout out the people who are there for us and support us. I love the again, love the album cover. You said it's a little dark, and you even spoke about how people go for maybe the colorful thing or whatever. Why did you choose to still, like, with the content of the album? What made you still choose and go this route?
Um, I don't honestly, it was my brother. Like I had given him another shot of this, which I think I was like my head was up or something like that. It was still like the bluish thing, but he was like, send me other ones. And then he sent me this one, and we were both just like, oh yeah, like that gives like emo vibes. It's kind of like I'm like kneeling and just but like defeated. And then he actually was like, let's make it seem like you've been like scratching at the like floor, like writing these words, like if you wanted like a plane to pass by and like see it.
It
And
tells
yeah,
a story.
we just we went for it, and
Yeah,
we're both so happy with it. And some people are like, "Oh, I didn't know he was gonna get so dark," and it's just like, yeah, we did, and we slayed because it's just amazing. I love it.
the cover tells a story. It's art. No
Yeah.
bullshit. It's art. I love it. And we not. Although the album is moody, I don't even want to say it's dark. The album is a moody album.
Yeah,
Is
the
that a
themes
better
are
word?
dark, I guess.
Yeah, it's a moody album because I don't want people to interpret dark. It's
That
not
is a good word. That's a great word.
moody, right? It's moody.
Very moody.
Definitely, please, y'all check out I Don't Want to Be Here streaming on your favorite platforms. But before we go, we like to play games, and the good games, not the bullshit games out there in the dating world. I want to play a little game with you called Did They Sing That Song?
Mhm.
I'm going to go down this list of artists that I'm sure you love. I'm a little older than you, just a little.
Yeah,
We're in the same generation, so I know you know these artists, and I'm gonna go down this list, and I'm going to give you the artist and a song title. Now, you are trying to guess if the artist actually did sing that song.
Okay.
You tell me yes, and if you don't think they did, you tell me no. Now, just a little heads up. Some of these artists have unreleased songs that weren't necessarily on an album, but they did record it and it was out there or leaked or a bonus or released in Europe, but not in the US. So it's a little tricky. All right. So here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. First up, did they sing that song?
Okay.
Destiny's Child, Get on the Bus.
No, they did. No.
It was actually
yes, but I'm like, come on, I know Destiny's Child.
It was actually for the Why Do Fools Fall in Love soundtrack back in '98 or something. I was what, 12? 12. Yeah, 12.
There you go. Started only up from here. Only up.
Next, Britney Spears, Pull It.
So you weren't gonna pick singles or like?
No, it's not that easy, Poppy. It's not that easy.
Pull It.
Yep, the song title is Pull It.
No. Oh no!
It was actually a song, a song recorded for what would have been on that Blackout album, but it didn't make the Blackout album.
Okay, and Blackout's like, give me more.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
It's sexual. It sounds innocent, the lyrics, but when you really think of the lyrical content, what she's really saying is kind of nasty.
You're talking about Pull It?
When you gonna pull it? I'm sure it's on YouTube. Go on
She
YouTube.
has she has a really good song that's really like dirty. Called that I think it's "Touching My Hand."
Oh yeah. And
Where she's like
if
talking
you
about.
think you need to listen to also Girls and Boys, it's very
Mm,
touch of my hand esque.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Next, did they sing that song? TLC, Who Dat?
I hate this game. Couldn't we do like you just named TLC and I'm like I don't want no scrub.
That's
Okay,
too
what's the name
easy.
of the song?
Who Dat?
You know, I'm gonna say no because you're not gonna give me 3 yeses. Okay.
Got it. You got it. Next, Miley Cyrus.
Mm,
I want that zizzer.
no. You're right. I'm pretty
I'm
good
to
on
throw you off with that because you know she went through her little bad phase, so could have
that.
landed.
Which was everything. The Bangers album was everything.
That's a good. That's the only time I really got into Miley was that album. I actually bought the
Really?
album.
Oh, I was
Yeah, I
following
mean,
her.
no, don't get me wrong. There's some songs, here and there from other albums.
Yeah,
That's the only Miley Cyrus album I bought. Bangers,
gotcha.
the actual CD. Wow. Anyways, next, did they sing that song? Bad Bunny, Creepy Kush, Creepy Kush.
No.
Now, this was a single. You can't. This was a single. It was actually a song where I think Farruko and Bad Bunny.
Wait.
One that creepy, that kush kush, and they did a
I know
remix
it.
with Nicki Minaj and
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
I gave you a solid one. Next, you're gonna get this one, especially you. I know you're gonna get this one now.
Allegedly.
We just talk about her, Lady Gaga.
Hmm.
Eh.
Dang. Okay, so she does have that song. That is a song, right? But I don't know how it
I
goes.
could say that one, yeah. But you got it. It's from the first album. It was actually, to be honest, I love her first album. I agree with you, Pop Gold. But that's one song that was like, for me, like she released it as a single as well.
One of the good songs on there also is Paper Gangster. You know Paper Gangster?
Oh,
Oh, no paper
yeah.
gangster.
And then it has that.
Yes. Oh,
You
yes.
know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Midnight. The opener, yeah.
Yeah. I love this guy. I love the fact I love when people like connect to it, especially non-singles and stuff,
Yeah.
and other people love it like I do. Love that. Next, the Pussycat Dolls, Superstitious.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Come on. Damn. It does sound like a song that they would do.
That's why I put it. That was my thing. Next, we have three more. Three more.
Okay.
Chris Brown, Captive.
Wait, what was the last? Yes. Yeah. What album was that?
I got a story behind this one. It was actually a demo he recorded, and you could go on YouTube. It's actually on YouTube. It's actually a demo he recorded for the Pussycat Dolls.
Oh, wow.
On their Doll Domination album, but they didn't end up using that song. But he's singing it, even when you listen to the song, he's saying boy, he's singing it in a girl's perspective. But it's actually because he's a songwriter. People forget that Chris songs.
And I love when guys do like demos or covers and they don't change the like pronoun.
Yeah. So yeah, he actually did good job with that one. Next up, we gotta get into our well, we did Bad Bunny, but more Latinos up in here. Our Puerto Rican brother, Mark Anthony, Hipocresía.
Okay, I'm gonna say yes. I don't know it, but
it's a good song. It's on his 3.0 album. Listen to it.
Have you been to I feel like you've been to Mark Anthony concert.
Oh,
yeah.
3 times I've seen him in concert.
My dad loves Mark Anthony. My dad and my mom love Mark
Yeah, the first time I seen him was someone took me out for Valentine's. He had a show at Barclays at Valentine's like years ago,
Ooh.
like 2004, 2013, 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last but not least, Drake, Georgia Peach.
Yes.
Damn, I wanted you to end with a yes, but you got some difficult ones right. No,
Oh,
that,
all of them were difficult. What you talking about? All of them were difficult. I thought you was gonna at least give me like, I don't know, something unreleased. This was a demo, a soundtrack.
I had to make it hard. Listen, originally it was gonna be you versus Melody with this. I had to make it
She would
hard.
have won.
She would have won, right?
Period. She would have won.
No, but thank you so much, Joel, for joining us. Listen, you have to come back. You are welcome to come back, and especially we got to make it happen with like a prostitute in church.
Of course, I'd love to. So I'm on all streaming platforms and all social media platforms. Joelle Bryan on Instagram is _ Joelle JOELLE _ Bryan with an I. On all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. You can find me under Joelle Bryan. And yeah, just stream my music, guys. I mean, to support an independent artist or an artist in general, you don't have to spend any money. Just stream the music, whether you want to do it for free on Pandora or just listen to it on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. Anything that you guys do for us helps us get into the algorithm, helps more people stream our music. My song was, for the first time, put on a huge playlist, because it was on Netflix. So just, keep playing it, and the streaming platforms will see that and put it on more stuff, and that's how we can grow. So
Absolutely. Make sure to support our boy. Thank you so much, Joel, for taking time and joining us today on the Inner Circle podcast. To you guys, what he said. A little like, subscribe, share. You follow us on Instagram where we post news and all that stuff. That's the place you want to join us to keep up to date with everything we do here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting and listening to us. I will see you guys next week. Adios.
bye.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, everything the Inner Circle